we're looking fancy. So this will be my second time filming the video. However, I was trying to edit it and I realized that it is like terrible. I sounded tired, I kept stuttering, I didn't have any organization at all. Like it was terrible. I couldn't even like edit it to make it sound good. Like it was just overall terrible. So we're refilming it now. I'm hoping I have enough yarn left over to make another one of these bralette tops, because the last one that I made, I thought it would be a good idea to put it in the dryer on the bulky large setting while it was still tied up and the strings on it broke. Surprise, surprise. So I have to remake it anyways because I was making that one for my friend. So here we are. Oh god, are you kidding me? What is this? I can't believe you've done this. Oh my god. So we're gonna start out and we're gonna be chaining what half of this bra cup would be. So you could say that like this is gonna go from like cover your whole front side. So you could do like a fourth of the length of your front piece, and then that would be how much you chain, right? Yeah, okay. So take roughly half of the length that you want your cup to be, and then that'll be how much you chain there, if that makes sense. So for me, I'm going to be chaining 12. I'm going to get my yarn out. Yeah, so if I get my yarn out, I'm going to be chaining 12. Give me a second. I'm going to be chaining 12, so I'm going to slip knot, and then I'm going to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then I'm going to chain 2 more, and I'm going to single crochet into the 12th stitch, the 12th chain. So then we're skipping the 2 extra chains that we made and going into the 12th one. And we're going to continue that all the way down, continue single crochets all the way down the row. Okay, so now that we're on the last chain, we're going to put 3 single crochets into that last chain. So we're, regardless of how many you put for like the chain, we're going to put 3 single crochets into that top corner. And as we're putting those 3 single crochets, we're going to be like slowly rotating our yarn, or we're going to be like slowly rotating our chain so that we can end up single crocheting down the other edge. So that's 2 single crochets. I'm also going to be crocheting this end in as I go. So that would be our 3rd single crochet. That would be your 3rd single crochet, so it's kind of like hanging off, like going almost all the way on the other side. So then we're just going to continue putting single crochets all the way down the bottom side of the chain. Okay, so now that I'm on the last stitch, I'm just going to kind of put it in there wherever I can find. And I'm probably going to pull this string out eventually and then cut it, just because I don't like weaving in ends. Oh, or it might just stuck back in there. I don't know. So we're going to turn our work, and we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to start single crocheting all the way up until we get to the very top chain. And then I'll tell you what to do from there. Okay, so now that we're at the very top stitch, we're going to put 3 single crochets into that stitch. And then we're going to continue down the other side with single crochets all the way down. Okay, so now that we're at the end, I would turn my work, chain 2, and then continue all the way up with single crochets until we get to the top stitch, and then we would put 3 single crochets into that top stitch and continue down the other side, and just continue that until you get your desired thickness. Okay, so now that I've made it to the end of my last row, I'm going to chain 1, and then we're going to start putting single crochets into this edge right here. So I'm just going to put it in wherever feels fit. There's not really an exact science to it. There probably should be to make sure that it's even on both sides, but I'm just throwing them in wherever seems like they can go. Okay, so now that I'm at the end of the row, I'm going to chain, and this is going to be what wraps around the back part. So I normally chain 150 just because that leaves a lot left. Oh, that leaves a lot left over. But chain as many as you feel fit. I'm going to chain 150. So. Okay, I literally forgot to record it, but once you would finish your 150 chains, you would just come to the end, tie it off, and cut it. And we're leaving a little strand at the end. So we're going to repeat that for the other side. I've already done that. So we're going to set the cups up so that the chains are facing up on both sides, as you can see, and then we're going to put the tips together. So I'm going to insert my hook onto this cup in the top stitch and pull through my yarn and make like a little knot with it. Oh, that's a terrible knot. Let me try that again. And then I'm going to insert my hook again and pull through this yarn to make a loop. And then I'm going to get the tip of my other thing and pull it through there. And we're going to pull through both and do a little slip stitch. So, and then we're going to flip over our entire thing so that our chains are facing down. So that our chains are facing down, as you can see. And then we're going to make sure the chains are facing down, and we're going to slip stitch over to wherever the cups go flat. So that's going to be 9 slip stitches for me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I'm going to chain however many I need to get to the 9th stitch on the other side. So I'm just chaining a random amount, honestly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right around there. We're going to put some more chains in there. Okay, so then we're going to insert our hook into that 9th stitch, and we're going to yarn over and slip stitch into that. So then slip stitch all the way up the other side of the cup, all the way to the corner. so that we can start on our first row of the hem. Alternatively to this, you could cut the yarn and just reattach it to the corner, but I have to be complicated. And I hate weaving in ends with a passion. Okay. So now we're going to chain 2. And we're going to single crochet all the way, we're going to put single crochets all the way down this cup, through the chain into each little chain space, and then through to the other side of the cup, of this cup, all the way to the end. I'll meet you back when I finish that. Okay, so now that I've finished that first row of single crochets, I'm going to turn my work, and then I'm going to chain 3. Get yelled at by my dog, Boomer. What are you yelling at me for? Anyways, I'm going to chain 3, and then we're going to put a half double crochets all the way across. Boomer! We're going to put half double crochets into all of these stitches, going all the way across. Everywhere that we put single crochets, we're going to put half double crochets above the single crochets. And that's going to be for the full length. So you're going to continue doing 1 row half double crochet and 1 row single crochet until you get your desired thickness of the hem. I'm going to do 6 rows of that. And then your last row should be a half double crochet, and then for that you'll need farther instructions. So meet me back here whenever you get to your last half double crochet row. Okay, so now that I've finished my last row of half double crochets, I'm going to turn my work. I'm going to turn my work, and then I'm going to start with a chain of 5. And then I'm going to yarn over twice. I'm going to skip my first stitch, and then I'm going to go into the second one, and I'm going to put a triple crochet. And then I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to skip my next stitch, and in the stitch after that I'm going to put another triple crochet, and I'm going to chain 1. And we're going to continue that type of pattern for the full row. So it's going to be chain 1, skip a stitch, triple crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, triple crochet. Okay, so now that I've finished that row, I'm at the very end. I'm going to turn my work. And we're going to do a row of half double crochets just to finish it off. So we're going to start by chaining 3, and then we're going to do half double crochets in every stitch. For the chain 1 spaces, I'm just going to throw a stitch. It doesn't have to be in the actual chain because it's kind of hard to do that, so I just put it in between the 2 triple crochets. Now that I'm done doing my row of half double crochets, I'm just going to cut my yarn and tie it off. And then we're done crocheting now. I've got just this little ball of yarn left. Anyways, so we're done crocheting now. At this point, I would just weave in the ends. but I don't really feel like doing that right now. I'm gonna do it eventually. I'd rather get into what to do with the straps. So for the straps, you're gonna take, this might be kind of hard to show you, but you're gonna take, like, we have it flipped over, and we're going to take this strap and we're going to pull it across onto this side. And I'm going to stick my hook kind of up through right around where the first row of single crochets are. And then I'm going to get like the lower string on my chain and pull that through. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to pull it over to the other side to where the bottom corner of the last half double crochet thingy is, and we're going to pull it through that, and then that'll have a nice little thing. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side, pulling it diagonally across and pulling it through this little thing right here, and I'm pulling it across and pulling it through this right here. And then at this point, absolutely all that needs to be done is tying in the ends, and then whenever you put it on, you would tie this down here into a knot, and that's all. Now we're finished.